Hi everyone, and welcome to stage 5 of this 7-stage walk between Glasgow and Ben Nevis, the highest point in the United Kingdom. On this leg I walk from Bridge of Orchy to Kinlochleven. It's a distance of 34 kilometres or 21 miles, and it is by far the most scenic stage of the West Highland Way. Anyway, we have a long way to go. Less talking, more walking. Okay guys, with 4 kilometres under the belt, I'll tell you what's ahead. At the 9 kilometre mark, we enter Rannoch Moor. At 24 kilometres, we have magnificent views of Glencoe, and then we tackle the Devil's Staircase. Now that's around about 1.5 kilometres or a mile of upward climbing, and with 24 kilometres in the legs, they're going to be complaining, I'm pretty sure of that. But once we get to the top of the Devil's Staircase, we're at the highest point, and it's downhill all the way to Kinlochleven. But today's a long day, and it's going to be another sore day. Well, we've left the sealed roads for the last time now. Now it's just track all the way to Kinlochleven. There's a little bit of rain overnight, and I'm hoping that the track isn't too wet. I did notice that the River Orchy, back at Bridge of Orchy, was actually quite high, and that means there's been a lot of rain up in the hills. What we don't need is a waterlogged track. This is one of General Wade's military roads, built in the mid-1700s as a way of getting troops up to the north of Scotland to quell the Jacobite rebellion. Based on the sign back there, it was also a drover's route, which means this is the way that the farmers used to get their cattle and sheep down to the markets. I was thinking it's actually in pretty good condition, considering it's 250 years old. I'm guessing that it was a good idea to have a road surface made of stone if you're going to have a lot of cattle and sheep walking along it, otherwise it would just turn into a total quagmire. I've also noticed in this part of the West Highland Way, the flies are out in force. Brings back memories of my Australian upbringing, the great Aussie salute. We've now reached the top of this hill. Nothing significant, 295 metres, but it acts as a good warm-up for what's coming up. We're about to enter Rannoch Moor. Look how bleak that is. Apparently this was where a major ice field was located during the last ice age, and as the ice melted, the land, which was under pressure, started to rise back up again. Like what would happen if you pressed a sponge, it would come up. Not that quickly though, it only goes up at around about 3 millimetres per year, and that is typical of this part of the west coast of Scotland. In case you're interested, that's what's called glacial isostatic adjustment. So don't ever say you never learn anything interesting on this channel. Right, let's tackle Rannoch Moor. There are certainly a lot of hikers on this section of the West Highland Way. I think most of them are heading to Glencoe. After all, this is the most scenic part of the whole walk. Loads of them. Well, things have gotten pretty windy here. We've just changed direction and this valley is a bit of a wind tunnel. Just up there we have Glencoe Alpine Ski Resort. It was Britain's first ski resort. It opened in 1955. And just behind you down there is the main road, the A82. And that is the 18-kilometre point for me. It's also a chicken out point because there's a bus stop. And if I find that I get injured or I just can't cope with the scenery anymore, I can wait there and wait for a bus to get home. But that's not going to happen. Nope. Straight ahead, the Devil's Staircase. Oh, it's windy here. Okay guys, we've started it. This is the easy part before the Devil's Staircase. It's officially described as tough, so I know what to expect. And some people say it's the hardest part of the entire West Highland Way. It's said that the name Devil's Staircase came from the men who were building a reservoir on the other side of the hill. They would go down there to where there was a small pub and they would get far too drunk, and some of them wouldn't make it back up in the middle of winter and they died of hypothermia, and it was said they were claimed by the devil. Hopefully I will not be claimed by the devil. Less talking, more walking. I would hate to try and climb up this in the middle of the night under the influence of alcohol. Oh boy, this is tough. We're at the bottom of the zigzags now, which is the toughest part, and my legs are screaming out. Although I can see people at the top of the hill, so we haven't got that far to go to the summit, but what a killer! And what a view! Well, I've just passed the highest point of the West Highland Way at 549 metres. Oh, that climb was a tough one, but I'm glad it's over. And it's all, more or less, downhill from here. Okay guys, here's a question for any hikers out there. When you go hiking, do you play music? Now on every stage of this walk so far, I've passed people who have either had earphones in, listening to music, or they're actually carrying a radio around and listening to music. Maybe it's just me, but if I'm going to be out in the countryside like this, I would like to hear the wind in my hair, babbling brooks, the occasional bird whistle. Why would I want to listen to music? What do you do? Notes below. Guys, there might still be 4.5 kilometres left to go, but I've just had my first glimpse of Kinlochleven, which is the finishing point of today's stage. Oh, today has been a hard one, it really has been, but we'll be there soon, and it's downhill all the way, which is not a good thing because my knees feel like jelly. Well guys, I've made it to Kinlochleven, but only just. That was a tough stage. Anyway, on the next stage, stage 6, it's the last part of the West Highland Way from Kinlochleven to Fort William, a distance of 24 kilometres or 15 miles. Now we should get some pretty good views of Ben Nevis because we pass the actual base of the mountain. Now, if you want to see me suffer, make sure you subscribe. All the links to the other stages are below. Thanks for your support and I'll see you next time. Oh, I'm going to sleep well tonight.